Okay. Here we go. What do you recommend to people that have problem with gooning? Okay, so that is a fantastic question. But this video right here on the particular examen, go watch it. That's going to kind of outline this in greater detail. So you kind of have to look within yourself and think about the way in which you choose things. Like, why do you choose to do this rather than that? Well, really, it ultimately comes down to the fact that you have considered, you know, and considered these motives and considered things under the aspect of goodness, and that is going to draw your will more strongly towards that certain object. That's just the psychology of a scholastic psychology of a moral act. That's kind of what's happening. And when you sin, what you're really doing is you are choosing a good which is lesser, choosing a good which is lesser, which makes it a disordered act. So, how practically speaking do you take this speculative fact and put this into practice in your moral life? Okay. So, St. Ignatius, he consolidated a lot of the tradition before him into making what's called the particular examen. So, with the particular examen, there's kind of two steps. Really, there is in the morning, you wake up and you through mental prayer. So, if you don't know what mental prayer is, you need to read Simler's Catechismal Mental Prayer or something like that. So, you go and you consider some point of revelation. Let's say you want to consider the crucifixion or something. Consider some point of revelation. And from considering that, you're drawing out all of these motives. So, like the crucifixion, Jesus, he suffered and died for me. He suffered so greatly that I should be willing to suffer these temporary afflictions in order to not sin against him and to increase his sufferings by my sins. So, like, let's say that's a certain motivation that you're drawing out from this morning of mental prayer, and then what you're going to do is you're going to kind of order your will against, you're going to order your will against that vice and towards the opposite virtue. You're going to make a firm resolution against that, and you're going to motivate the firmness of that resolution through considering all of those motivations that you've piled up, through your study of the faith and through your contemplation on the liturgy and such. So through that, you're going to have these, pointed arrows that you can kind of shoot against, temptations and such. And then throughout the day, you're going to have this sort of watchfulness. You're gonna renew your resolution as you go along. You're gonna have this watchfulness. You're going to have a sort of moral consciousness. You're gonna be morally awake. You're not gonna kind of be slumbering throughout your day, kind of going through the motions. You're gonna be morally awake and vigilant. So when temptations do come, and they do, then you're going to recognize this, ask for the grace to overcome it, and make sure you go to these considerations of the various aspects of the faith in order to kind of shoot these motivations at your will, in order to motivate and strengthen your will to resist those temptations. And then from this, you'll choose the good. And this gets habituated and it becomes easier over time. And anytime you fall, it weakens you. And then at the end of your day, you're going to look back at your entire day of warfare that you have engaged in. And you're going to consider those times that you've fallen, whether by thought, word, or deed. You're going to keep track of those. You're going to ask for forgiveness. You're going to renew your resolution. You're going to ask for the strength tomorrow to overcome it. And then the next day, you're just going to do it again. The next day, you're going to do it again and again and again and again and again. And then one day you'll die and you'll go to heaven. It's really, it sounds simple. And it's simple, but it's very difficult, obviously. And that's really what the ascetical life is right there. And you may, there's a lot of bells and whistles you can add on to it, but basically that is kind of just the backbone and structure. And this is really Peter, how do you pronounce it? Kwasniewski, a Polish guy, whatever. Polish last name. I mean, he's American, but he actually talked about, and this was very negative. He talked about against Saint Ignatius and the sort of mental prayer function of the Christian life, and he was opposing that as something which was a bad development. We actually need to go back to the liturgy as the center. But really, the liturgy itself and what is presented in the liturgy is not merely something which is going to be for speculative considerations. Of course, it is for speculative considerations, absolutely. But the liturgy is providing you with certain truths that are meant to motivate your will and is meant to direct your affections towards, overcoming whatever habitual vices you have and strengthening those virtues that you need. I mean, this is all what the liturgy is for. It's presenting something to you for your consideration in order to direct yourself. Okay, so six commandment issues: cold shower, fasting, hard manual labor, exercise, good masculine friendships, laughter, removing the occasion as much as reasonably possible, prayer, confession, custody of the senses, especially the eyes, waking up early, going to bed very tired, accountability system of some kind, and the things that a Christian are is saying. Also, immediate physically discomfort, chase away temptations, just exhale, don't breathe in. You will not be thinking about the ladies for much longer because you will want to breathe. All of those things, guys. All of those things. And I could give you the theological explanation for why these acts of penance and the sort of changing of the direction of our considerations is important, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I got to tell people what I used to tell people before I wanted to go into this, and this might be simpler advice. I used to tell people literally just sleep on the floor, guys. Just sleep on the floor. If you're sleeping on the floor, you're not going to goon. Like, let's be honest. Like that's the best advice. Now, if you are sleeping on a cold hardwood floor, with your thin little blanket, thinnest possible blanket you can find, you're not going to. Like, let's be honest, you're just not going to. The occasion, and this is what actually Solid Virtue by Father Belisius, he makes this point about waking up early, which Eamon said. He's like, well, waking up early, staying in bed for long periods of time, whether to go to sleep or whether to wake up, that's merely an occasion for sin. That's an occasion for sin. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, I mean, if you're sleeping on the floor, like you got nothing. Sleep on the floor, guys. It's not that hard. Oh, but I'll be tired. I won't sleep well. I won't sleep well. I'll be tired. Well, yeah, who cares? You'll stop gooning. Okay, that's what you want to do. Like, how much do you want it? How much you want it? Okay.